public speaking is providing information in a public arena. It's an information that you know that is important, relevant, and that the audience can use. So that begs the question, if you have a family gathering in your living room and all your family are there, is that public speaking? The answer will be no. Okay. Usually what makes public speaking is that it's done in a place that everybody can come in. And also there is the fear on the speaker's part, whether the audience is going to be receptive or not receptive. Unlike if you're talking to your family members, they all like you, whether they agree with what you say or not, it's not going to be totally embarrassing to you. It's totally uncomfortable for you. So that's where the nervousness comes in place when it comes to public speaking. We are nervous because we know that the audience is going to be judging us, whether good or bad. So that's why public speaking involves your ability to be able to speak to an audience in a public arena. That's why in public presentation, you have to mind what you say and how you say what you say. Now let's quickly look at why do we do public speaking. One, you can do it to inform people. You can do it to persuade people. You can do it to demonstrate. And there are occasions you can actually do public presentation to entertain people. So as you can see, it says public speaking says to inform, to persuade, to demonstrate, etc. Etc. means that there's a lot. And item number B says the event takes place in public arena. Item C says the event can take place in electronic media platform. A lot of the presentation we are doing in this class today, during the course of this semester, we're going to be using electronic platform. It is also in some cases requires the use of visuals. In most cases now, all the presentations that you're going to do for me, you are going to have visuals to support your presentation. And we're going to talk about the benefits of visuals later on in the course. You're also going to require sources to support your presentation. Now, when we talk about the power of public speaking, we talk about why do we need public speaking anyway? What's the importance of public speaking? Why do we need it?
Public speaking doesn't only necessarily pertain to public speaking or the act of that. Just the skills that you learn through public speaking can be applicable in your daily life, whether you're applying for a job or trying to get some sort of task done. You learn a lot of useful things about how to effectively communicate and how to formulate an argument or an opinion and give it in the correct way. That sort of will help you later on when you're trying to establish yourself in a professional sense.
Thank you, Michael. I could not have said it better. Michael is absolutely correct. That's the power of public speaking. It is applicable in every setting, in every profession, and it allows you to become a critical thinker and a critical listener. And in every job that you are going to go for an interview for, one of the set requirements is for you to have an effective communication skills. No matter any job you're going to apply for today is going to require that. Not only that, when you secure a position at a job, in order for you to advance in your career to become a manager or the CEO or any other higher position in that corporation, you are going to know how to be able to motivate people, how to be able to influence people, not only with your actions, but with your word. People respect people who can talk. And at times, whether good or bad, you are evaluated not only based on your look, but based on your spoken word. And that's communication. And somebody wants to tell me, oh, Professor Airway, well, I'm going to be a mortician, so I don't need to know how to publicly because I'm dealing with dead people. I say, oh, yeah, sure, of course you're dealing with dead people, of course. Now, what happens if the parent or the relative of the deceased person comes and they say, good afternoon, I'm here to see my brother. And what are you going to say? Oh, your dead man? Your dead person? You're here to see your dead person? No, you know, absolutely. You're going to have a fight on your hand because the person just told you they're here to see their brother. You say a dead thing, a dead. No. And you are going to speak to them politely, make them feel that their brother is still literally alive. Oh, let me take you to him. We dressed him up. He looks so handsome. That's how you would talk. That's part of communication skills that you're going to need. So in every line of job you're going to go after, the public public speaking skills is essential and it's relevant. It was relevant hundreds of years ago as it is relevant today. Now let's take some notes down. The power of public speaking. Public speaking or communication skills are essential in any profession. Successful leaders are great public speakers. That's a fact. Ability to communicate and think critically are more valued by employers. True. Pericles happens to be a great philosopher. 2,500 years ago, Pericles said that you were better off not even coming up with an idea than coming up with this great idea and you are unable to articulate that idea. You're unable to present that idea. You have this great vision in your head, but for one reason or the other, you're unable to present that vision, to articulate that vision. So Pericles said 2,500 years ago that that's not a good idea. That's not a good thing. So public speaking is essential today as it was 2,500 years ago. Now let's talk about the differences and the similarities between public speaking and conversation. Now, public speaking is more formal. More formal has to do with what you say, how you say things, and it means that it is highly structured. It means that there is time limit. In public presentation, if you have 2 minutes to speak, that's the time people are giving you to speak. 2 minutes. When you go beyond that 2 minutes, you are abusing that privilege. And this is where we talk about captive audience. Your audience are captive audience because they cannot leave when you are doing your presentation. You have a binding contract with them that says that you are here to speak for 2 minutes. You have to ethically be liable to that 2 minutes. Once you go beyond 2 minutes, probably 2 minutes, 30 seconds is okay. Probably 2 minutes, 45 seconds is okay. 3 minutes, Once you go beyond 3 minutes, you are violating that rule because your audience cannot just get up and walk away. If they walk away, they will be violating the rule of ethically listening. And also in public presentation, there's no interruption. You cannot scream that somebody lied, you're good, you're an idiot. You cannot say that during public presentation. Whether you agree with that person or not, you must listen. You must listen to that person. On the other hand, conversation is less formal. That means in a conversation is less structured. There's no time limit. You can start a conversation now and conversation may last 2 hours, 3 hours. Probably you go to the supermarket, you come back, you start again with the same conversation. And of course, what makes a conversation because of the dialogue, because of the verbal give and take. As a matter of fact, start trying to have a conversation with somebody and you are not saying anything in return. They get offended. They literally get offended. And they're like, what? So I'm talking to myself now? So you don't have anything to say? Something wrong with you? Am I talking to the wall? So in a conversation, there's a verbal give and take. But in public presentation, there's no verbal give and take. Okay, the next thing is conversation requires a different method. When we talk about method, we're talking about how you speak, how you say things. So in public presentation, there's no stock phrases. There's no, you know what I mean? No, we don't know what you mean. When you say you know what I mean, you're telling your audience that you don't know what you mean. You're asking your audience to help you. Your audience is not there to help you out. You are the expert. That's why they're there to listen to you. Also, in public presentation, you cannot use what we call vocalized pause. You cannot do that in public presentation. In public presentation, there's no distracting mannerisms. That means that you cannot fold your hands, you cannot begin to scratch your head or pick your nose, any of those stuff. You don't do that in public presentation. What you do is that you stand erect, you have an erect posture, and you speak clearly and eloquently in public presentation. On the other hand, in conversation, you speak in your comfortable style and with less emphasis on eloquence or mannerisms. You're having a conversation with your friend. Hey, you can start and then you begin to blow your nose or you begin to comb your hair. You begin to do any of those stuff. It's just a conversation. And of course, there's always vocalized pause, the arm, the home. You're just having a conversation. So these are the stark differences between conversation and public speaking. But let's look at what they have in common. What they have in common, one of them is 7 elements of communication, also known as the speech communication process. We're going to get to that in a minute. Organizing your thoughts. Whether you're having a conversation or a public presentation, your thoughts, your ideas are organized. It has to be formalized for your audience to understand what you're saying. Either way. Also, in both public presentation and conversation, you also need to tailor your message to suit your audience. The same conversation you're going to have with a college student, it's not the same conversation you're going to have with a kindergartner. You may be talking about the same thing. You may be talking about coronavirus right now to a college student. You will tailor how you talk to them to meet their level of understanding, their level of intellectuality. When it comes to kindergarten too, you have to find the right word that we also understand. You're talking about the same thing, the same way with public presentation. Adapting to listeners' feedback, very, very important in both conversation and public presentation. Although we say that in public presentation, the listener cannot say anything, but they can give you feedback. And you get your feedback from their body language. If you are talking, if you're having a public presentation and your audience is falling asleep, you better find the strategy to wake them up. It may mean that you tell a joke. It may mean that you move a little bit closer to a few of them. It may mean that you raise up your voice. So you have to find it with the same way when it comes to a conversation. If you're having a conversation and somebody is getting bored and they're telling you they don't care about the conversation, you find a way to make them care about the conversation. The same way with public speaking. And of course, in both situations, you have to do what we call save the best for last.